Frank Skinner on Absolute Radio.
With the big, bold flavour of HP sauce, making breakfast legendary.
This is Frank Skinner on Absolute Radio with Emily Dean and Alan Cochrane. Dun, 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 dun. Dun, dun, dun. You can text the show on 8 12 15, follow the show on Twitter at Frank on the Radio, email the show via the Absolute Radio website. Morning, Peter. Morning, Jim.
Morning, Richie.
Yes.
I'm back and I'm really tanned, but we won't talk about that
You are
yet.
tanned. I was thinking about that when you arrived this morning.
How did I look?
Golden brown.
Oh, lovely.
Texture like wine.
Do you know what?
Is it
Son?
Is it son?
Yeah.
Don't mention wine. It gets me upset.
Okay, yeah.
He brought it up.
If I can just do
Interesting,
about a type 5 on my tan. I think what's good about my tan is that it's now faded. I've had a week, so it's calmed down.
Faded? Wow, it looks...
Right.
Imagine what it was like initially. Lovely.
We shall.
I'll tell you what I thought, though. I thought, there was a time that when you got back from a holiday in the Maldives with your tan, you were like a special person. But now there's so many people walking around with tans they've got around the corner from that shop. That shop that Gail runs. You know Gail?
Yeah, but Frank, that's why I intentionally, which you may have noticed, pulled up my jumper to expose my stomach this morning so you could see it was all over.
Yeah, but you can get all over tans at Gail's place. That's the whole point.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
That's where I
you know
get
what I
mine.
mean? It's like seasonal fruit. It's not special anymore.
So I've been in the Maldives. What have you been up to, Frank?
Oh, I went to the chiropodist.
Lovely. I haven't been to that island.
It's all right.
a Greek one.
It's very quiet this time of the year. It's just below Italy.
Excellent
Exactly
work.
the same shape. Would you say, I say chiropodist, would you say chiropodist?
I think I might. I don't think I've ever said it.
You
but
never said it
I
at
don't
all?
think I've ever had the need to say chiropodist. There we go, that's it. Yeah, I say chiropodist.
Okay.
I found it out.
Never had the need to say
Well, he's not
it.
going to go to a chiropodist. It's about 60 quid an hour.
Look, I'm not going to go to the
Hey, I pay
Maldives,
people
but I
for
can
their
say it. I don't have to go everywhere I say.
That would be a very tough rule.
Jupiter. I can say it. That's not how you measure your vocabulary.
I've just never had a problem with my feet. I've got a slightly
I didn't
sore
say I had a
toe
problem.
occasionally. Why are you going to a chiropodist
Well,
then if
you
you've got perfectly fine
Whoa,
feet?
whoa.
You're just going in and going, look at them. They must be the best you've seen all week.
That'll be 80 quid, please.
Yeah, there you are. Do you take a check?
Frank, how are your feet? I mean, they're a little Middle Earth. Let's not lie. Are they?
Well, they used to be lovely, my feet, but as you get older, blah blah blah. I just get. I'll tell you how I know I need to go to the chiropodist. I often lie in bed, just gently rubbing my big toes against each other.
It's a bit
And if I can
creepy.
hear
Why do
it,
you do that?
if I can hear it through the duvet, then I know it's time to go. If I can hear, and that's when you have to go and get smoothed.
Have you not got a, what is it called? A pumice stone? A pumice stone?
You say that this early in the morning?
Pumice stone.
Oh, a pumice stone, yes.
God.
No, I haven't got a Tony Pumice stone.
Frank, you want to get yourself down to one of those tanks. I was going to take you. Do you remember for a little
yeah.
pedicure where the fish eat them?
The piranha type fish. Yeah, but what worries me about them is how do they know when they've finished
he's
the
back.
cosmetic layer and they're into the delicate flesh. Don't they think, as we all do when we have a nice bit of pork? I have a bit of crackling and then I'd like a bit of the nice pink tender stuff underneath. Before you know it, you might... Imagine falling asleep, checking out you've just got 2 skeleton feet. Wowee. Actually, that'd be a great...
As if it's happened.
Could be a great sketch.
Absolute Radio.
Frank Skinner on Absolute Radio.
Yes.
So you've gone to the chiropodist.
So I went to the chiropodist.
Hey, we've had a joke about it as well.
A joke?
We've had a pun. You show me a man who laughs at defeat and I'll show you a happy chiropodist. Laughs at defeat.
Yeah, it's good.
Yeah. It's not
good.
from Ian Engel, who's usually our punner in
Punner,
chief.
yeah, he is, in residence.
Stewie in Wallingham.
Yes, that sounds
Okay.
the sort of thing a Stewie would say.
It's a bit stewy. I bet it's a bit stewy after the piranhas have finished your feet off down there. Yes, I went to see him, and he's a bit of a celebrity type chiropodist.
Celebrity
What do you
foot
mean?
doctor.
Who else has he got on his
Well, he
books?
wouldn't tell me, but he said he got some high-profile clients.
Oh, that means Rusty Lee.
That means their nails
Well.
need trimming.
Yeah.
I bet I bet she's a size 8.5 minimum. Anyway, it's all work. So, I'll tell you what he said to me. You know when people have he had a bit of material or something, got a telly juice done off their...
Oh, okay.
He said to me, it says the thing is with he says, don't worry about the fact, you've neglected them a bit. He said, because with people I find their feet are the furthest thing from their mind. I mean, literally.
Oh, very good.
Oh, did he say I mean literally?
Yeah, but what I really wanted to say was, well, actually, you don't mean literally, because that would be a straight equation between the mind and the brain, and there is some debate about that. But I didn't feel I wanted to go into it.
And you could have said, I've thought of Jupiter this morning. That's further from my mind than
I didn't want to
feet.
bring that up.
Can I ask you something? Was he a bit of a self-styled, colourful character?
He wasn't completely that, but he had a bit of patter.
Okay.
In fact, it was the pitter-patter of tiny feet. But I tell you what he found, and this is what a walk down memory lane it turned out to be.
You can do that with your feet, can't you?
Yeah, you can. I can, yes. They've been down memory lane many a time, my feet.
They've been down worse places than that.
They
But
certainly
anyway.
have. But it turns out I have 3 corns.
Oh, no.
Obviously, I headed to the nearest fountain.
Oh,
3 corns.
Yeah, no, I
and a
I know what the joke was.
No, but I've got 3 corns. How marvellous. I said to him, I thought there hasn't been any corns since the 50s.
Who has corn?
Exactly. And I said, would I be able to buy plasters? Because I like anything that
Corn
you get.
plasters.
I love to buy the accessories, for
Oh, I remember
the
those
accoutrement.
carnation plasters.
Yeah, they're like
Remember the
they're
carnation
like,
plasters?
Those things that
Yes.
look like polo mints that you put on. Have you seen those? Yeah.
Do you like our nostalgic corn plaster material? I think it's going quite well.
Yeah, I
Lovely.
think so. But he said that they're not that good. Corn plaster.
No.
He said, I'll just buzz them off. So he just buzzed
With
and
what?
did all that. He had like a little, like a sort of
Used a
sanding
mobile
machine.
Oh.
Do you know, I haven't heard of anyone having corns in a
No.
long time. Have you
I
got
felt
rickets as well?
strange. I haven't got rickets, apparently.
Okay.
Apparently that's cleared up. But, yeah, how lovely, though.
And it was the big toes that sent you there. Is that where the corns were, or were they in a
No,
different
they were a bit
location?
further down. That was just the dry skin. Oh, I shouldn't get into too much detail.
So
But
you've got foot problems you don't even know about, and 3 of
well,
them.
they're not really
The same.
problems, you see. He said sometimes they really hurt, but I had no awareness of them. But I just like the fact that, other people are on Twitter, I've got corns, and that suits me.
That's how you communicate.
Yeah,
Corn circles.
I can't follow that.
You're listening to Frank Skinner's podcast from Absolute Radio.
We've had a few texts in from the outside world. I said that we usually get a text from Ian Angle. Is it Angle? We've
Yes.
established
Ian
it's
Angle.
Angle,
Ian
isn't
Angle,
it?
he's one of my regulars.
Yeah, we said that he hadn't sent in the pun that we got from "You show me a man who laughs at defeat, and I'll show you a chiropodist." But that is the sort of ilk. He's answered, Alan. I just can't think of any corny jokes this morning. Excellent,
He's hit the floor. He's hit the floor running.
Angle's on fire.
excellent work. We also had a text. I believe Thomas Edison invented the corn plaster.
What's Thomas Edison text?
Yeah, which is fair enough. He invented the text, almost certainly.
I like the fact that our readership now are listening and sending jokes that fully a week later from when we've started them. It's great.
Who sent that?
514.
Is this about something that happened last week?
Yeah,
Oh,
sorry.
okay, fine.
Where were you last
That's
week?
fine. It's
Where were
it's
you?
fine. It's okay.
Where were
I
you?
just-
Why didn't you
I
do the
wasn't
show
here,
last
that's
week?
okay.
Why didn't you do the show last week? Why was that?
Just read the text that happened last week.
Is it because you're in the Maldives?
Is it the Maldives or is it Maldives?
The Maldives.
It's actually called the Maldives,
Yes.
like the jam. What kind of a country?
I was wrong.
What kind of a country has a "the" at the front of it?
That's in what kind of a
Falklands?
country?
The United Kingdom.
No,
There you go.
that's
No,
not
it's
right.
not called the United Kingdom. No, it's
I think
called.
it is called the Falklands, though.
Well, it used to
No,
be.
it isn't, is
Isn't it
it?
groups of islands? Isn't it?
Falkland Islands, it's
You
called.
know,
groups of
listen,
islands, isn't
stop arguing, it's irritating.
Stop it now, we're not doing radio now, we're just talking.
Can I tell you who will be able to help us? Our readers. They'll know about the. Well, I think you're right, the prefix in front of a country, there must be some rule about it.
The Maldives. Is there could you have a place that begins with A? A Maldives.
I think it'd be Anne
Is it a
Islands.
group of islands?
Yes, it
I think
is.
it's a
So
group
are
of
the
islands.
individual ones
They're
down
atolls.
as Maldives?
They're atolls.
Oh. Does it include Bikini Atoll?
No!
Okay.
It's in the Indian Ocean, you fool.
Well, in a way, we all are.
I
Good
can't
night.
believe you just said, what kind of a country is that?
Yeah, let's go to the Spain for our holidays.
Why not?
Okay. So, yeah, carry on.
I've got another email that I'd like to bring to your attention. Dear Frank, Emily and Alan, having listened to Frank being interviewed on Hawksby and Jacobs, one of TalkSport's more bearable shows.
Oh.
I hadn't read that.
That's a
bit.
nice review.
That is, I mean, it's true, but
Did you do TalkSport?
I did do TalkSport, yeah.
I noticed that he referred to their listeners as readers. What? Was this merely a slip of the tongue, or is Frank quietly trying to convert other stations and shows to the terminology of his own? If so, it seems to be working, as on the self-same show, they have started to run a feature whereby they name a footballer from a bygone era, and one of the presenters has to guess if they at some point in their career played for Tottenham. The name of the game, Cockerel or No Cockerel. All the best from Paul in Amsterdam. Great text, Paul.
That's
Great.
what we say every Saturday. See if he's going to turn up.
Paul's in Amsterdam.
Yeah. I'm listening to Absolute.
Lovely.
Brilliant.
Absolute Amsterdam.
Amsterdam.
It's a theme there.
Frank.
It's almost he's running his life like some crazy dictionary.
104 has texted the Netherlands.
Oh.
What kind of a country is that? There's
Well,
one for you.
Holland. Holland is what kind of a country it is. Who calls it the Netherlands outside of a scoreboard on the telly? Only time they're ever called that.
He's not having it, is what he's saying.
No.
It's not a group of islands either, is it? We
The
can
Scotland.
factually say.
The Scotland should have used this in their independence drive. They're going to be called the Scotland if we win
That
it.
would have-
That sounds like a band, doesn't it?
That'd have got
I
them
think
that
it
few
sounds
extra
better.
votes.
What, the?
Yeah, the Australia. Much better.
No.
Okay.
No, and also, you immediately move yourself way down the alphabetical order. So when people are looking for their holidays, they go straight to the front of the book. They think, oh, Australia, that'll do.
Yeah.
They're not going to, by the time they get to T, the Tasmania, of course, is
going
fine for the Tasmania.
Alan,
They
look,
haven't even moved out of their section.
can you pass the book? Because I want to book a holiday.
Anyway,
841 has texted the Wirral. Good work.
yes. Yeah, I can accept that. I accept the Wirral. It's not many. You do get some of those. You get regional places, but
The
countries,
Canaries, 249.
you know. To me, there's a certain
The
insecurity.
Canaries, 249.
Group of islands.
Yep.
I think it's probably called Canary Islands, and we've shortened it to the Canaries. Good band, though.
You're listening to Frank Skinner's podcast from Absolute Radio.
Here's a story. As you may know, I did some bedtime stories for CBeebies.
I remember. 523, the Gambia.
Yes, pardon?
523, the Gambia.
That was one of them.
699, the Salonika.
523 The Gambia was a little boy who lived in Norwood. No, I didn't do that one.
Okay, bedtime stories, yep.
Yes, I did the bedtime stories. And I managed to get Buzz to watch one last night. He's basically... I've said, would you like to watch Daddy reading a bedtime story on the telly? And he's saying, no, I'll have Peppa Pig, please. Or I'll have Postman Pat. Or I'll have Paddington. Mm-hmm. Just things that begin with P, mainly. But last night I actually got him to watch one. Because it's quite hard being rejected.
Tell me about it.
Well, you'd think having your dad on the telly reading a bedtime story would feel like kind of a special thing. Spoilt. But I tell you what, I had a shock with. We watched Dombo. I recorded it over Christmas.
Oh, it's absolutely traumatic.
Well, I had no idea Dumbo was so... I thought, this is basically his first... Well, we watched Pinocchio, as you know. I was telling you about what good legs Geppetto had.
That's one of the most disgusting things you've ever said.
Well, I don't know why. I was thought it was an inspiration to the middle-aged man, that you can still look good on a makeshift raft. So anyway, have you seen Dumbo recently? The film?
Well, not recently, but I don't need to. It's horrific.
10 minutes in, his mother
Yeah.
is sectioned under the Mental Health Act. I couldn't believe it. I thought, how do I explain this to her? She's actually put in a thing with a sign that says "Mad Elephant."
Yeah, it all goes a bit Jeremy Kyle.
It is. It's terrible. And it's quite... I wish someone in the edit had said, Walt, keep it light, mate.
It's for kids.
Keep it light. What do you say? Keep it light. I don't want this bit. Oh, this'll be fine. Keep it... No. So, also struck me as well that she's called Mrs. Jumbo in the film.
Oh, yeah.
Right.
Which means that his name is Dumbo Jumbo. And I thought, if this kid ever gets involved in anything nonsensical,
Yeah.
we know what the headline's going to be.
Yeah.
So, yeah, but I was really shocked by it, and it's made me wary now of full-length animated features by the Walt Disney Studios.
Well,
Which is something I was looking forward to. I think every new parent, every old new parent thinks, oh, great, we can watch, Snow White.
Oh, Frank, Lion King, sickening.
Lion King. Oh, Lion
Sickening.
King's good.
Well, I was going to do them in chronological order.
Oh.
So Lion King's a way off.
Okay.
I thought the old classics, you can trust that they would be all right.
Oh, no.
No, there were sometimes.
Quite the reverse. Their
Bambi.
sensibilities were different.
Well,
That's why
Bambi, of course, I wouldn't even dare take that on.
No.
Even I knew that. So if anyone's got any advice of a safe Walt Disney animated cartoon from the past, I'd love to do it, because I can't go through this again. There was a definite sense of exploited workers at the circus as well.
What?
It was like a sort of like... I mean, I know Walt Disney was famously right-wing, but it felt like sort of one of those old communist propaganda movies. These guys knocking big tent pegs in, in the... at twilight.
You are watching it through slightly different eyes. This is through the prism of your rather extraordinary worldview.
Well, Boz did look across at me and say, "You all right with this?"
Absolute Radio.
Frank Skinner on Absolute Radio.
156, the Isle of Wight.
Yeah, we're getting quite a lot of...
Is it the Isle of Wight? Is it actually called Isle of Wight and we've added the "the"?
Who is the Isle of Wight?
Okay.
people saying the British Isles, the United Kingdom.
Yeah, but I say the ecstasies when I'm talking about that drug. But I don't know if you're supposed to. Does he take the ecstasies? He looks like one of those. But I don't know if you're supposed to say it.
My mum says he looks like he takes those E-pills.
Yeah.
Well,
Those
yeah.
are those pills you get on the internet.
We've also had 760 has texted. Holland
Can I
is-
say Absolute Radio is anti-drugs? Can I make that clear?
Have they said that? I haven't been sure.
I'm guessing. I'm guessing. I'd be stunned to look in the manual and find, by the
to
way...
broadcast that. I don't think you should.
No, I'm guessing.
Holland is the biggest biggest county in the Netherlands, brackets by far. So people call in the country Holland. So people call the country Holland, but it's actually the Netherlands. It would be like calling England Yorkshire,
So
right?
which
what's
most
another...
Yorkshiremen probably do.
That's fascinating, isn't it?
Isn't it?
What's another county
find it.
in the Netherlands?
Delft.
Enschede. I don't know, that's
Delft.
a town that I've
Delft.
been to.
I don't know if it's a county. I reckon it is, isn't it?
Is East Anglia part
Delft
of the
deep there,
Netherlands?
didn't she?
They're very flat. They're all so flat. I thought it must have been joined.
I don't know. Maybe 760.
I heard
hang on.
I heard a thing by... Who's the guy who did the book about the North Circular Road?
Oh, I can't wait to read that.
Anyway.
North, sir.
This is a strange piece of radio.
He said he was driving through East Anglia and there was large... You know how flat it is, he said? He said there was large stretches of land looking like there was auditioning to be a golf course. Very fine, I thought. Anyway.
I don't want to upset the Nazarene. not my words, but the words of 760. But what about the Vatican? Isn't that a country?
Oh.
Well, it's,
Hashtag GCSE geography.
I think it's called,
Vatican City.
yeah. Or is that something from Space Patrol?
Vatican. Yeah, the Vatican is probably the building
It
itself.
used to be
isn't
the Papal States, but then again we might have added the. Oh, this is all very confusing. Isn't there a geographer in the house?
Can I just say...
That's something he's only called out of the theatre very often.
You wouldn't be my phone of friends.
There's a man collapsed, but we can't find him. Is there a geographer in the house? Apparently he's on very rough terrain. So, I'll tell you what, I was playing I Spy on the bus this week. I'm talking a lot about my child this week, but I was on the
You've got to
bus.
stop splashing out on those toys, Frank.
Yeah, he was sitting behind me and I was sitting in front. There was others in the group. It wasn't just me and him.
Very strict parent.
Yeah, and he was, yes. And I was on the elderly and infirm seat. I didn't think he'd qualify. No, and he was playing I Spy behind me, and he can't spell, so I Spy is tricky.
What's wrong with him?
So he, it's, you know what they're like, the kids today.
Yeah.
I'll still be saying this when he's 11. So I could hear, he does colours, so he says I Spy with my little eyes, something beginning with orange, and then you have to look for orange things in the room.
Okay.
So he was sitting behind me, and I heard him say, I spy with my little eyes something beginning with grey. My heart sank. And I thought it couldn't be. And I was looking desperately around the bus for any grey stuff. And then he said, Daddy's hair. Oh, man. The unkindest cut of all.
Skinner, Dean and Cochrane. Together, The Frank Skinner Show.
Absolute Radio.
We've been asking for... Well, have we asked? Have we even asked for, like, islands that are grouped as the... Like the Maldives? We haven't really asked, have we?
Well, I'm wondering if there's any countries actually called the, or if we add the for convenience.
Well, we've just received what I think maybe one of my favourite texts since I've been doing the show from 760.
Whoa, what a build-up. Hold on, let me get some let me get some music.
This is going to be embarrassing.
Hold it.
It's not going to live up to that. While you're on the subject of the Netherlands, if you still are, how about The Hague, which is also in the region of Holland? And this is my favourite part. This is fun. I just really like This Is Fun. I don't think we've ever had a text that ended This Is Fun.
Does he mean it?
I'm not sure.
Oh, you see, that's the trouble with text. He could be saying, this is fun.
Why would
See,
he
if
say
a guy
it?
texts me that... Yes, I use text, not texted, because I'm young.
Okay.
If a guy texts me that, I'd hate This Is Fun. That would really worry me.
Especially if you know, in the context of the Netherlands, this is fun.
Oh, yeah.
You know, it sounds like...
Yeah. Have you done gigs there? Have you done stand-up in Holland?
I've never been to Holland.
Oh, wow. If you want to spend an hour having your jokes stared at, then that's the place to go.
Okay. Well,
And then at the end,
I do.
I really enjoyed this.
I don't have to go that far. I can get the tube and have that. In fact, I can stay in.
You can come here.
Yeah, and indeed come here.
249, the North Pole.
The North Pole.
What is it now? Is it
Or
North
is it
Pole?
just a pole? It's a pole. Poles apart. It's a pole, isn't it?
Poles apart?
You know,
Is that a
it's
1970s sitcom?
probably.
It's incredible there hasn't been one about East European immigration called Poles Apart. It's sort of light-hearted.
Well,
I'm going to write that.
Oh,
Yep.
please don't
gonna
write
write
it.
it.
I
Please
reckon you
It'll
don't.
be fine.
play a long song, you could knock up a treatment.
Poles Apart.
Alan, if there's one thing we can guarantee is it won't be fine. 760 has texted us, Frank. You know the one
Have
who
you
said...
seen my other sitcoms? I'm sensing that you have.
You know 760 who texted
Oh,
This
yeah.
Is Fun?
Yeah?
Uh-huh.
He's just texted to say, I proper mean it. Hashtag honesty best policy.
Oh, well, there you go, you see.
Brilliant.
There you go.
Yes, that's like one of those romantic texts that you get and you think, oh, they're being sarky or whatever. And how lovely if you could just text and say, do you mean it? And they'd come back and say, proper honesty, best policy.
Brilliant.
Wouldn't life be lovely and simple?
The Galapagos.
Pardon?
The Galapagos.
Bless you.
The Frank Skinner Show on Absolute Radio. Back Saturday morning from 8. Tune in live for the full Frank experience.
Absolute Radio.
Frank Skinner on Absolute Radio with Emily Dean and Alan Cochrane is what you're listening to, and you can text us on 81215 if you want to be part of the experience. Obviously, if you don't text us and you're listening, you're still part of the experience, but I mean, you'll be heard. Follow the show on Twitter at Frank on the Radio, or email the show via the Absolute Radio Webby.
All right, Keith Chegwin.
Try the Webby.
We're discussing this morning on Absolute Radio. There's a sort of inadvertent text that has been set up, which is whether you can say "the" in front of a country.
Yeah, it's confusing. I think, because I think there's a colloquial thing where you say the Maldives, and maybe it's not called that officially.
Well, 760 says, just wondering how many examples Frank is going to need before admitting the word "the" is part of some places' names. The Shetland Isles, the Isles of Scilly, etc.
Well, you call them that.
And I try not to read out texts that are too laddie, because I think we have a certain tone for the show.
Yes,
and this one just...
Send it, just forward it to TalkSport.
It just... no, I think this one is just on the right side of loose.
Well, I'll be the judge of that.
462, dear all, I spent a decadent month on the Cook Islands back in '98 with a fine young filly I'd met the previous month while meandering round New Zealand.
When did he do it?
98.
Okay.
Of course he did. Those were his best years.
Oh, marvellous. A
And that's
fine
from
young filly.
that's from John in Brentwood. Let's hope he's not in the car with his now family driving somewhere.
Maybe the fine young filly is now
Maybe,
his
we don't know.
elderly
What if we
companion.
find out that we're misjudging him and he's a racehorse trainer? Right, then he'll have the last laugh.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, I'll tell you what happened this week.
What?
I lost me back door keys.
Oh, I thought that was going to be the news. Just interrupting the show. I'll tell you what happened this week.
Well, this is news. There's news in our house. I hate losing keys like that.
Yes.
Well, I hope you found them again.
I always imagine, don't you? I mean, I don't know what the chances of this are. I always imagine if you lose keys, house keys, they'll be found by the member of a crime syndicate. I never thought they'll be found by a person who thinks here's some keys. They don't have any name or anything on them, so they're just keys.
Isn't there always a slight bit of doubt that you left them in the door and somebody passing saw them?
Oh, well, it was in the back door, but you know, you never know. Could be a burglar passing across our garden.
Yeah.
Funny
could be.
things, keys, aren't they? I mean, no, but I just think they feel it feels quite primitive.
Yes.
It's quite barbaric. Like a lovely big home you've got, little bit of metal.
Yeah,
I was
you're right.
promised hoverboards.
You're right. And even if, also, the idea that these criminals getting my keys, it suggests that burglars have turned up at people's houses and gone, oh, it's locked. Which probably, you know, they probably don't stop at that.
No.
I mean, I could be wrong. Maybe there are burglars that just try doors.
If I was a burglar, that's the sort of burglar I'd be. Just
Yes.
in case anyone was wondering.
If I was a burglar and you were a lady, would you marry me anyway? Come on, everybody, would you be
Do
me?
you keep your key? Where do you keep your keys? Do you keep them in
Well,
your...
you think I'm going to tell you that?
Broadcasting to the nation.
Yeah.
No, but I'm saying, where do men, because you don't have handbags, do you just have to have the keys in the front pocket?
I just wear briefs. I just pop them right in there.
Well, that means, what do you have in your
don't
pocket,
know.
Frank?
A brief won't hold small pieces of... I don't know if you ever put loose change into a lap dancer's...
No.
Yes, I think we
Phone.
all know he has.
yeah, exactly. 50 pence and no higher.
50.
No, it's...
High roller in town.
I found them in Boz has got a doctor's case.
Oh, lovely.
With like a stethoscope and stuff in it, where he carries out experiments, and he'd put them in there.
Oh.
So he'd taken them away like a young magpie. But it was a terrifying. I've got a friend who prays to St Anthony if he loses anything in the house.
What?
St Anthony is the patron saint of lost things.
Is that right?
So a lot of people, certainly a lot of Catholics, if they lose anything in the house, they say, "Oh, St Anthony, can you the great finder of lost things." I think the story is that he had a prayer book stolen, and he got it back.
I think I read an interview with Richard Dawkins, and he just looks for his.
Does he?
Yeah.
Well, I find my cleaner is the finder of lost things.
Okay.
Yeah. Not St Anthony.
No, it's not St. Okay.
Oh.
St Anthony, of course, his career was a bit knocked about by the Bermuda Triangle scandal. He never really came back from that.
Frank
Skinner.
on Absolute Radio.
Absolute Radio.
Frank, I think I like Trevor McDonald.
So I just had a fax come in. Queen's still alive, apparently. Tell them to keep me updated on the hour.
Who's the fax from? Max Headroom. I think we need a bit more politics on this show. It's too much Bieber, not enough manifesto. And, well, I tell you what I'm very excited by. There's all these celebrities getting into politics now. Bez. I mean, I know I say celebrity.
Yeah.
But, did you see this? He launched an election campaign for the reality party.
Yes.
He gave away free beer.
The beer doesn't
sign.
involve any fracking, I think.
No, there's no fracking. And he held up a sign saying, "Join the revolution."
Yeah.
I think he might need to workshop that slogan. I feel maybe it's been used before.
Russell Brand must be furious.
Actually, the title of his party might have been used before, hasn't it?
Yes.
Wasn't it the reality party's too close to the realist
The
party?
realists. And he missed the deadline. Who'd have thought Bez missing the deadline?
Yeah.
I suspect he's up with the Lark doing his tax returns. But
Good band, though. Good Manchester band, the Lark.
All right.
he's got a lot on, Bez, at the moment. So he missed the deadline. So unfortunately, he's now not going to be able to stand for election. Yeah,
It's a shame because he's got
due to an administrational error, which is not. I mean, that just doesn't seem very Bez, an administrational error, does it?
It's a pity though, because he could have a really good inbuilt campaign. Because he was the dancer, famously in Happy Mondays, wasn't he?
Yeah.
Yes.
Which is what he described as dancer. I don't remember him doing that much dancing. I remember him walking backwards and forwards with some maracas.
He did a bit of sort. Yeah, he did do some dancing.
Did that make him a dancer? Do you think Louis Spence is reading it and going, "Oh, he's a dancer like me"?
Good Louis Spence impression, if you don't mind me saying.
Thank you.
That must have been half an octave.
Octave.
But you know, I think if he was to go for politics, he could straight away go, "Well, I was in the Happy Mondays. All right, Happy Mondays party. From now on, we'll have Happy Mondays." Instead of you kind of going back to work, going, "Oh, we'll create like a budget where you can have a nice breakfast on a Monday."
Yeah.
I think he's a bit more serious about it than that.
Yeah,
though,
I think
isn't
he is. That's a shame.
No, because I heard. He gave quite an impassioned speech.
Did he?
He was talking about the government, and he said, "We've got to fight them with peaceful means," which I liked. That was very cute. And then he said, "They've got all the kit. We've got nothing. They've got all the kit." He said about David
That
Cameron.
sounds true,
I
though.
believe.
They have
they've
got all the kit.
We've got to do it with the ballot
Does he mean
box.
nuclear weapons?
I think he might. Yeah.
He described it as all the kit. Yeah.
Anyway, he sounds like he's missed his turn.
It's all gone a bit. To quote one of his colleagues, it's all gone a bit Pete Tong.
Yeah.
Afraid.
Bears.
But he wasn't the only one.
No.
Was he, boys?
No, sensational news for Planet Rock.
Yeah.
It's Al Murray's to stand.
Well,
is
he's
it
not
Al
standing
Murray or is
Al
it-
Murray, he's standing as the pub landlord.
Can you do that? Can you stand as someone else?
Are you objecting because he's the pub landlord?
No.
He's an island. No man is an island. This says.
No, exactly. So he can't be the. Maybe he's a group of islands.
Yeah. He's an atoll.
I think of Al as more of an isthmus.
Yes.
But
Free United Kingdom
but can
Party.
you stand under an assumed name? I would have thought that wasn't allowed.
Screaming Lord Such, I'm not sure that was his birth name.
Well, he was called David Such. That's a question, though, isn't it? In the age of political...
No, it's not.
No, but here, in the age of political correctness, how can you get away with having a party called the Monster Raving Loony? party.
Yeah.
No, I don't think you can anymore, darling.
Well, they are called that
They're not
officially.
still around, are
They are. They still stand.
Yeah, but things are
Hasn't
different.
anyone involved in the mental illness business said you can't call it that?
Like Dumbo's mother.
Dumbo's mother, when she, I mean, I don't think she's any longer with us, but her descendants, and they've all got good memories, as we know, must think a bit disrespectful to Mrs. Jumbo's memory. No, I'm amazed they can call it that.
I think they slipped through, though, didn't they? They slipped under the net because it was.
Very well.
Yeah,
These political correctness, they're not thorough enough.
Yeah.
I've often thought that.
Yeah, the old PC brigade.
I've often thought that when I've watched my DVDs.
Frank, you're like Jim Davidson. You call them the PC
I am
brigade.
not like Jim Davidson.
a little bit.
Neat.
So, can I tell you? Well, do you know what the pub landlord is calling for? He wants 1p pints. The pound will be worth £1.10.
I like that as an idea.
And Greece is to be bought and operated by Kent County Council. And lock up the unemployed. Bad news for GMTV presenters.
Oh, 1p a pint as well, at a time when binge drinking has become a problem in this country.
Oh.
I mean, come on. We'll come back to this, I think.
The Frank Skinner Show on Absolute Radio. Back Saturday morning from 8. Tune in live for the full Frank experience.
Absolute Radio.
You know, we've been discussing, well, obviously you're aware of this, but we've been discussing the pub landlord and the Bez both running. Well, they're both. I don't think Bez is running anymore, is he? He had an election campaign, and this is no longer happening.
I'll tell you what worries me, and I love Al. He's a
Yeah.
very, very nice chap and fabulous company. But I am worried, and don't take this the wrong way, I'm worried that it might be a publicity stunt.
What?
I know.
You mean he might not genuinely make beer a penny a pint?
Well, what happens if when you go into one of these things for a bit of a lark?
Yeah,
What happens if you won?
I know.
What would he then give up his comedy career and move into and be a
Well, you'd
regular
have
MP
to.
in the House? Well, would you have to? You could stand down. As in, stand down, Margaret, stand down, Queen, stand down, Margaret. But
I think,
fine? Is
but
that
can I
fine?
be honest? I think the average stand-up would make a better MP than most people who'd risen up through local government.
can a stand up, stand down?
Oh, very good. For example, Frank Skinner, I actually think you would make a really good MP. You know, I've always thought that. You're a fundamentally decent man. You
Well,
have your
I like a cheap
eccentricities, I
suit.
won't lie.
Got a lot of suits, yeah.
Yeah.
Don't you think, though, Al?
Definitely, politics could have you on like a Bosman transfer where you take all the showbiz suits.
Imagine in Birmingham, you'd wipe the floor.
Yes, well,
You'd
I've
have
done
to.
that before. Not deliberately, but it's while I've been being dragged.
That was in Flair's nightclub, wasn't
Is
it?
this one of your manifesto speeches?
No,
I'm going to get
right.
more floor wiping. I feel partly responsible.
Oh, it'd be I think, Al is quite a competitive bloke. I think he's gone into it for a bit of a laugh, and then when it comes to the campaigning, I think he'll get a bit like he wants to win.
Right.
I remember him during the Crisp Wars.
The Crisp
of
Wars.
course
The
you've got-
famous Crisp Wars.
Well, yeah,
You've got form with him, haven't
yeah,
you?
when he was steak and ale pie.
Oh, you have beef with him?
Yeah,
Oh, very good, Al.
yeah. So it's interesting. Just think if it happened, if he won, would he actually take it on?
Would he do the things that he said he would do, which is brick up the Channel Tunnel? It's one of them.
What if he had to do all the things?
That would be interesting, wouldn't it?
Well, this thing about locking up the unemployed, if you made beer a penny a pint, you'd have to lock up the unemployed anyway. And indeed most of the rest of the population.
I think there should have to be at least one celebrity every election. It's just like the Hunger Games or something, they get picked. So like Jeff Brazier, it could be his year.
Yeah, I think I can see Jeff Brazier taking it on. I lived in Sandwell East, I think it was called, in the West Bromwich area, and Andrew Faulds was my MP, who was a former actor.
Oh, yeah.
And then I moved to Hampstead in North London, and Glenda Jackson was my MP. former actor.
I'll be back in a minute with Frank's former MPs.
But not only that...
And he moved to America during the Reagan era.
No. But they were both in the same film, even. They were both in Ken Russell's Woman in Love, as if I'd gone on a fabulous Ken Russell-themed tour of Southampton as my MPs. So there is a record of proper celebrity MPs. I just don't know if Ali's taking it that seriously. I could be wrong.
Yeah.
I've been wrong before. When was that? That's this week's texting.
You're listening to the Frank Skinner podcast from Absolute Radio. Want your Frank fix a little sooner? Listen live every Saturday from 8 a.m. on Absolute Radio. Across the UK on digital radio, mobile apps, and in London and the South East on 105.8 FM.
Absolute Radio.
So I won't be standing, is my point
Why
in the
not,
election.
though? You'd be really good.
The truth is, no one looks good in a rosette. Don't you think?
Now you tell me.
Is that a motto of yours?
I think that is my motto. Unless you're like a pork pie at a country fair.
You know what? You've got your pose all made from the 90s with the 3 lines fist.
Oh.
Sort of, come on. Oh.
Who should be? Who would you vote for?
Well, I think there could be an argument for Mickey Flanagan as London Mayor, couldn't there? That'd be good.
I could see that.
And
He's
London
one
have
of
got a
the
bit of
people.
history. They've got a bit of history for that, because I think Boris Johnson got famous by "Have I Got News for You?" Didn't he? Really, like that's how he kind of found common ground with people. And Mickey could do that, couldn't he? All right, people. It's time, innit? It's
I knew it was
time.
coming. I knew it was coming.
Yeah. He was
my stomach. I haven't actually breathed out for about a minute and a half.
He was never going to mention him unless he had an impression.
No,
Obviously.
it's a very good
I'm going to do
impression.
them all.
It is
I'll do them all. Who else?
Give us
have
a
we
bit
got?
more,
Boris
Mickey, go
Johnson.
on,
No,
give
I'm
us a
not.
bit
more,
Oh,
Mickey.
hey, come
Come on.
come
Okay,
on.
what about I genuinely would vote for David Mitchell because he seems a very bright
He
man
seems
and very
bright,
funny.
Right.
Okay.
Yes, I can
Can't
see.
really do him.
Oh.
I can.
The thing that
I can
impressionists
see
never
that.
say.
Can you see that? I think he'd be great.
Yes, I think that's a fair point.
Yeah.
Joe Swash. I'd vote for. Keep it real.
Yeah. Robert Kilroy Silk.
Keep it insane.
I think he's already done it.
Oh, yeah, we tried that then.
He's done it already.
What worries me about Joe Swash is, when they go out into the town centres pushing it, and his followers are handing out stickers with his name on, how will they refer to those stickers?
Swash stickers.
Oh, you can't say. You can't say we've been handing out
fell
swash
into
stickers.
your trap.
You did. That's beautifully done.
What
The
about
cockerel is now hanging upside down from a palm tree by his ankle. I've got to go and cut him down.
God, it must be great having someone stupid on the show that you could just constantly lay out traps for.
Well,
Yeah, we enjoy it. What about Nancy DeLolio? Oh, I'd love her.
Can
She'd be good.
you stand if you're not British?
Oh, she's a lawyer. Oh, she's Italian.
Great debate.
Do you have to be born in Britain to stand in British elections? I don't know.
Oh, I don't know.
I don't know.
Can I point out? I'm not saying that you should be. Okay, this is not a.
Isn't the woman from the Green Party?
Well, they're strict
Antipodean?
about this in
She's a Martian.
America, aren't they?
That's
I
why
think-
she's in the Green Party. Yeah.
Well, we don't know.
I bet the monster Raven Looney's been going longer than the Green Party. It's been going longer than the Lib Dems.
Probably.
Well, definitely. The Lib Dems is relatively recent.
Oh,
It used to be
right,
the
yeah,
Liberal Party.
Yeah, but it's all formal now. The day was, in their day, you could just turn up in a faux fur coat and a hat.
There was no faux fur in their day. I saw Screaming Lord Such live
Did you?
at Wembley Stadium.
Really?
Carried on in a white coffin by 6 topless women. I'm not voting for that.
This is
Frank Skinner, Absolute Radio.
Frank, can we please talk about my holiday?
Yes.
I've been
on
sitting
holiday?
here waiting so long for you to talk about
Well, to be fair, you have
and
been
MPs.
showing slides throughout the show.
All I've wanted to do is talk about this.
I liked when you put that one on where you were upside down and then silly me.
I mean, I think that was deliberate.
And then I said,
come on.
oh, no, you can't see that one.
Yeah, exactly. Whoops.
Whoops, I don't know how that got in there.
Oh.
Good that. That's
So-
why we've played so many long songs today, innit?
Please, can I talk about it?
Go on.
Maldives.
Yeah.
The Maldives.
I
More
went
like.
to the Maldives. I went Maldives.
The Maldives, in case you're wondering, is a 1960s female vocal group. Do you remember they did that one? Oh, he's my baby, and I love him, and I love him. Remember that one?
No, because it sounds awful. I headed over there with my companion. None of your business, and none of your business.
Okay.
Companion.
Yeah, none of your business.
Okay.
We went first to duty free. You've got to go to duty free
You know
first.
those things,
haven't
do you remember, do you ever have a coal fire as a child?
No, we had central heating all my life.
Oh, well, we had a coal fire, and you get
You had
those...
an outside toilet.
You get those things that hang next to it. We did have an outside toilet. More hygienic, I've always maintained that. And you get
That's how you justify it to cat.
There's a metal stand at the side, and you have a poker and a pair of claws
Oh,
for
I know
picking
exactly
up.
what you mean, Frank.
Yeah.
I know it.
You know what it's called?
I don't know. I
It's
don't.
called a companion set.
It's not.
Oh, is
Yeah.
it?
So did you take one of those with you?
No. But Daisy says my companion sounds a bit exotic, best exotic marigold hotel.
I know, well, a travelling companion,
Yeah.
of course. People used to advertise for
Yeah.
those. I'm imagining it was a young girl who basically carried your portmanteau.
Imagine away.
Okay.
So we went to duty free first, as you have to start the holiday in duty free.
Was Keith Barron there?
No.
Okay.
I love duty free though, Frank.
I didn't know it still existed,
Oh,
duty
yeah.
free.
I wouldn't even
Yeah.
think to go in duty free.
What? Of course you wouldn't.
I honestly wouldn't.
Of course you wouldn't.
Isn't it full of
I
stuff that
leave
you
an hour.
get free anyway?
I leave an hour to do duty free.
But isn't it all makeup and stuff, and you get that free? You should have a shop there called Free, which you just go in and get your makeup from, and then you can't take it. If you can't buy more than 100 mil.
Well, 50.
Is it 50?
Yeah, my
50,
companion
depending on where
needed
you're
a
going.
baseball cap. So,
You wanted a baseball cap?
yes, because of the sun, sun protection.
Okay.
Went into, I don't know what it was called, it was one of the chains, and went in there. There was a rather surly looking woman, I'm not going to lie at the till. Said, I said, I'm looking for baseball cap. She said, what? So looking for baseball cap? She said, no, we ain't got them. I said, okay. So I was a bit disappointed. It was about to go on our way. As we turned left to go out the store, saw an entire wall with, I'd say, 50 to 70 baseball caps.
Kidding me?
All in one section. I mean, so, of course we chose one. How much was I looking forward to this moment?
Yes.
I put it on the counter. It was very divorce papers. It was very lawyer handing over divorce papers.
See, I would have walked out with it, and I saw you said you told me you didn't sell them. I imagine these are complimentary.
It was very Jacques. I said, it turns out you do baseball caps. She said, they're in baseball caps.
What?
Had New York Yankees on it. I said, it is a baseball cap. She went, no, that's called snapback. That's called snapback. I said, beg your pardon?
She's a
That's called
purist.
snapback. So I said, I would call that a baseball cap. You know what she said? Well, I don't play baseball. How do I know?
Truth.
Well, she's not a purist. I'll take it back.
Which airport was this?
Gatwick.
I'm not going there again.
I thought it was the Maldives.
The Frank Skinner Show. Listen live every Saturday morning from 8 on Absolute Radio.
So, we left duty free after that unfortunate incident.
That's a terrible
It
start.
was terrible, but we didn't. We thought, you know what? I don't want that to Andrew Marr our holiday.
No.
And we didn't let it.
No, fair enough.
So, lovely flight.
Okay.
Yeah, very nice. Oh, guess who was in the cabin on the way back?
Pilot?
No.
Ooh, what's a
Hang
worry?
on.
I'm skipping to the end of the holiday just briefly because I love. I might do this when I tell the anecdote for the next hour.
Is it a
Can we
celebrity?
guess? Can we
Yeah,
guess?
celebrity.
Cher.
No.
Magnus
Why'd you
Magnusson.
say Cher? It's not going to be Cher.
It's a guessing game.
don't even
I just
think
thought I'd
he's in
start
that.
with a guess.
Yeah, that's...
Matt Damon.
This is going to take hours.
Eric Cantona.
This is silly.
I'm guessing. You said
Les Gray from Mod. No.
I saw a man.
Gary Davis.
No.
Steve Davis.
No.
It's a guessing game. I'm enjoying this.
Bet Davis. Go on.
No, but okay. I saw he seemed to have a sort of like Maharishi pant or something.
Fake shake.
And I saw him holding a little boy, a little blonde kid.
I'm not guessing at this stage.
And I said to my companion, I said, "Oh, isn't that man lovely? He was like the dream handsome dad. You know what I mean with the child." He walked back. I went, "Oh my God, it's Mark Owen!"
It was Mark Owen.
It was Mark Owen. Oh, my voice was like that the rest of the flight.
I reckon I was about 3 guesses away from Mark
I
Owen.
was
That's
so
really
excited.
upsetting.
I couldn't believe it was Mark
Bear in
Owen.
mind, I was hogged by Mark Owen
Were
pre-Christmas.
I went up to the cabin crew. It was so embarrassing. I said, I'm just really excited. Mark Owen's on it. And she just looked at me like, we can't discuss celebrities' names.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
She's taken some kind of Hippocratic oath.
Well, she didn't say that, but that was the
cabin
look
crew.
that she gave me. And then I just went on and on about him, and she went, yes, it is exciting. I was just staring at him. Full on staring. So
What, were you
common.
one of those up the back of the seat, like kids? Like a kid on a bus. With your elbows on the headrest, just staring.
I was.
Maybe playing
All
I
right.
Spy.
All right, are you? All right.
Anyway, we haven't even got to my villa yet.
Well, that's all right.
Oh.
So, there's no rush.
Okay.
The Frank Skinner Show. Listen live every Saturday morning from 8 on Absolute Radio.
This is Frank Skinner on Absolute Radio with Emily Dean and Alan Cochrane. If you'd like to contact us, why not text us on 8 12 15, or you can follow the show on Twitter at Frank on the Radio, or you can email the show via the Absolute Radio website.
I'm talking about my holidays. I've been talking about this for about half an hour now. And
No.
Don't try and stop me.
No.
I won't talk about it for too much longer because it is irritating for people. But I need to tell you about... Well, you can choose. Would you like to hear about the Russians, or would you like to hear about how Frank was mentioned?
I think that how Frank was mentioned.
I was more interested in the Russians. Potato,
We can come back to the Russians. Basically,
Yes,
I hated
I think
them.
we probably will eventually.
What about when I was so spoilt? I actually found myself saying, I mean, how long does it take to get an ice bucket? Actual quote.
You're not still doing the challenge. That's gone. You've got to let that go.
So, we were talking...
Don't even know what a snapback is. I mean, catch up.
Honestly.
We were talking to the people, the manager, actually, Lyle, a very charming Australian man.
Lyle.
Yeah, he ran the place. I said, who are the worst nationality? Go on, because I know there must be. And he went, yeah, no, you're right. Pretty much the English.
What?
Oh, it was awful.
Yeah, well.
That sounds awkward.
Anyway, then we were talking about celebrities,
Oh,
the
what's happened to the land of Shakespeare?
dream celebrities that they would like to have out there. And we're talking about names. They mentioned James Corden. They mentioned Chris O'Dowd, which I thought was quite strange. And obviously, we're on the subject of comics. I thought, well, I'll mention Frank. I said, what about Frank Skinner? She said, yeah, I love Gino D'Acampo.
That's my stage name, of course.
She kind of looked a bit, she went, oh yeah, I love Gino D'Acampo.
Probably never heard of me.
No, I think she had, but I
She's
think she was
hated me.
more excited about Gino D'Acampo.
Yeah, I think most women would be more excited about Gino D'Acampo.
I know, but I would be more excited to have you over there.
Thank you, Emily.
Frank looks genuinely upset by that.
I think we should have gone with the Russians.
Do you?
My own fault.
I know, you chose it.
I
Led with his chin, didn't he?
Should have gone with the Russians. You know, I love the Russians in many ways.
What I'm going to say is... Frank,
Tattoo,
what I'm
Stalin.
saying is, these were horrible though, they were awful. Can't we do the show from out there? Can't we go
What,
somewhere?
Moscow?
No, the Maldives or like a nice location
no,
like
I
that.
don't-
We can do
Why not?
Edinburgh, don't we? We could
Exactly,
always do
we
the
do-
Maldives
It wouldn't
next
suit.
August.
It wouldn't suit me, the Maldives.
You don't think?
Why not?
I'm not happy with a beach holiday.
Why not?
Because I don't like... I can't... my swimming's not good enough to go in the sea. I don't like having a suntan anymore. It's just sand.
Why anymore?
People, young people.
Well, not
I've
all.
got a
I mean, I'm
terrible...
out there.
I've got my drop shoulder.
You worried about leaving it on the beach?
Well, the thing is, the front of it doesn't get tanned because it's in its own shade. It provides its own overhanging shade. So I get what you might call the cold shoulder.
We'll keep the sun cream in there.
I don't think I'd be surprised unless in later life I have some sort of terrible mental crisis and run away with an 18-year-old girl. I can't imagine I'll ever have another beach holiday in my whole life.
That's so depressing.
No, I'm glad you had a lovely time.
I
Don't get me
did.
wrong, we're all different. I drove
a golf buggy.
If someone said to me, beach holiday or 6 weeks in hospital, I might go for hospital. But that's, I know for a lot of people...
Jealousy is a very ugly emotion,
No,
Alan.
really, I know it's a lot of people's dream. It's not mine. I'm sorry if you're a beach person listening.
I thought you thought there might be some beaches listening. Sorry if you're a beach, don't take this personally.
99 problems at a beach ain't one.
Yeah, exactly.
In your case.
Well, it is. In my case, it is the one. I'm all right. I'm not so bad with a pebble. Pebble Beach.
Brighton,
What
you're a
about you
fan
can
of.
get to... I drove a golf buggy. You'd love that.
Oh, I don't mind driving a golf. Last time I drove a golf buggy, Koo Stark was on it.
You're so contemporary.
Yeah, I know.
This is
Frank Skinner, Absolute Radio.
We need to talk about Neighbours, and I don't mean primetime BBC One Australian. I mean
Prime
Neighbours at War.
time.
Yeah,
Not even
1735.
BBC. Oh, okay.
I believe that period of the day is called shoulder peak in TV terms.
Is it?
Yes.
That's what I've got. Shoulder peak. I'm thinking of having... I'm going to see a physio this week and see if they can straighten it.
Yeah.
I talked about giving up on it.
Yeah.
And having talked about giving up on it, I thought, it's not in my nature to just give up like that.
Do you know what? If it's so bad that you can't even go to a beach, I think you should
Yeah.
get it seen to. I don't want you wandering around like Smike and
Well,
Nicholas Nickleby.
the-
You're a lovely man with everything to live for.
The thing is, it unnerves my partner. But if I lie back on the beach, it looks like I'm just
partner,
about to
David
get.
Furnish.
It looks like I'm just about to get up because the shoulder's upturned like the corner of a manuscript. Yeah, not my partner, David Furnish. I think he's spoken for.
Robbie Williams and
He's
Jimmy
fully
Page.
furnished. Sorry,
Robbie Williams and Jimmy Page.
Oh
are
yes,
neighbours.
oh yes.
And they've got a little bit
yes.
of they've got a little bit of beef. They've got a bit of there's
Jimmy's
a
got
brouhaha.
a terrible cob on.
He has, yeah.
See, I couldn't tell from the pictures.
Robbie Williams is doing that thing that I find depressing. He's bought a £17.5 million mansion. So
That's
if
quite
I bought-
depressing.
If I bought a £17.5 million mansion, I think I'd just be like, oh, let's decorate it and then we'll live in it. That seems fine
I
to
wouldn't
me.
even decorate it.
But he wants it revamped. He's
I
doing
don't know
that
why
thing.
people do that at all.
Oh, God, it does my
At
head
all.
in.
Whenever I've looked at houses, I've always, at some point, said to the estate agent, do you think they'll want to take the curtains? Because I don't want to change. I just want to move in. That's
Yeah.
all I want to do. Move in.
Yeah.
People always want to knock walls down. If
Well,
I
buy
buy-
another house then.
Yeah,
Exactly. If I buy a jacket, I don't think I'll get this, but I'll just, I'll put some extensions on the lapels.
Yeah.
I'll buy another jacket, exactly.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Anyway, he wants a swimming pool and a recording studio.
we all do, dear.
But it's in Holland Park, and I'm no expert on that area. But
No.
depending on how much Robbie Williams swims, I think it's too expensive to put a swimming pool into this £17.5 million hub. He wants a lift.
Yeah.
A young man like
They
him,
all
and he
want
wants a lift.
He wants a lift in the swimming pool. He wants one up to the top board. Defeats the purpose, the whole
He
thing.
wants a lift in a house that used to belong to Michael Winner. I mean,
Jimmy,
of all people.
What did Jimmy says this will cause structural damage and vibrations.
Yeah, he's not getting good vibrations, is he?
Is it rich
he's
though
upset.
from him, isn't it?
Well, the whole thing has gone down like a lead balloon. That's for sure.
Fantastic.
Just thought of that. That's good, isn't it?
That's
all right.
fantastic.
Yeah, yeah. He's not
Jimmy
happy.
Page has written to the council.
Yeah, with
Can you
several
believe
objections.
that?
Yeah. He needs to move
He's
on.
turned, Jimmy Page. He has. I can bet he can. He was much calmer when Michael Winner lived next door.
I'll bet.
You know what? If Robbie Williams hasn't seized upon this opportunity and said, calm down, dear,
I
over the
know.
hydrangea,
But I bet he
he's a
hasn't.
lesser man than I hope him
I
to be.
bet he hasn't. And Jimmy Page is a hypocrite. I mean, he had a stairway fitted, went really high
Oh,
up.
wow.
Very high up in his house.
You've been waiting 2.5 hours to say that, haven't you?
Oh, dear.
Can I
I'm
say
glad we
something?
came to this topic. It's been rich. Rich. I feel like the old prospector. Well, look at it. I've got myself a nugget.
Hank, don't deconstruct it.
Oh, sorry. Sorry, everyone.
You're listening to Frank Skinner's podcast from Absolute Radio.
Yes. Where were we?
Well, we were talking about
Oh, yes.
Jimmy Page and Robbie Williams. And falling out over a planning dispute.
Still ongoing, that. So we don't know. That's Robbie might win. Jimmy might win. Jimmy, I always thought, lived in Alistair Crowley's house.
Oh, really?
You know Aleister Crowley,
Yes, I believe he does.
the Satanist.
The black magic guy, yeah.
He's
Yeah,
been
I
looking
don't
after
think
it
that's-
for 40 years, he said.
He's obsessed
In
by
his
him, isn't he?
Looking
Yeah.
after what?
He said he's been looking after the house for 40 years. That's one of the things that he writes to the council. That
Yeah, but I thought it was in Scotland. Maybe he's got more than one house. Can you imagine that?
No,
Jimmy
I
Page
personally
might
can't.
have more than one house.
I think they need to resolve it.
I think
I
Oh, the
think
Satanists. I think you're right. Let it go.
I think it's common to row with neighbours, and I should know because I've done it, Frank, haven't I?
You certainly have.
Oh, yeah.
Wouldn't it be a great TV debate? Never mind Nigel Farage, David Cameron, etc. Let's get Robbie Williams and Jimmy Page disputing the house thing on telly live.
Yes.
I'd definitely watch that.
I'm sure that they'll patch it up. I reckon it's...
And whoever loses has to do a concert for Comic Relief. Come on, let's make it happen.
That's a nice
Yeah.
idea, actually. Yeah.
Thanks.
It's kind of odd that they both have similar jobs. I know Robbie's more of a pop star and he's more of a rock star, but it's still in, it's in the same stream, isn't it?
Yeah, you'd think they'd be.
Well, I feel sorry for Robbie because I think he probably knew Jimmy Page lived there, and he probably thought, "Oh, be excited.
Uh-huh.
We'll all be rock stars together." And now Jimmy sort of said, "Well, we don't want your sort here."
I think it'll sort itself out. I think Jimmy will knock on the door and say, "Look, you haven't got a spare DI box, have you? I've got a mate who's come round and we're jamming. And while I'm here, can I borrow that plectrum?" And
Oh,
then
I love the Cockerels' idea of how musos speak to each
that's
other.
how they speak,
I
isn't it?
don't think Robbie would have a plectrum.
He might have one
Does he?
somewhere.
He has a guitar, does he? Does he play the guitar?
I think he's got all the gear.
I've seen him with a guitar.
He must have the gear.
Remember last
though.
time you saw me, you were in the doctor's surgery.
Yeah, I know,
And I believe he said, "What are you here for, mate?" Did he?
Asking me a lot of personal questions. No, I find
He's
him to
lovely.
be a nice fella, but he hasn't done anything antagonistic, is he? Just wants to mess about with the house.
Yeah.
I think Jimmy's worried that he might get cracks in the walls. There's stuff going on next door.
It's a shame, really, because the ones that want to buy these expensive properties and then do them up, like Robbie Williams has bought this one, why can't they just go through the papers and read the last time there was a dispute like this, which, in my memory, was Thierry Henry adapting his house and Tom Conti was annoyed.
Well,
So why can't he just buy
that
Thierry
was
Henry's
always going to
house?
end in tears. That combo.
But why can't he just go, "Oh, well, there was that brouhaha. I'll
Yeah,
buy
exactly.
Thierry's house now that he's done with it, because he's put the swimming pool in and
that's a
like
good
a
idea.
3-storey water feature."
No, but
Yeah.
Frank's right. Don't put it in. Just buy the house that's
Yeah.
more suitable for your needs, idiot.
Or use a
If you're going to
municipal
spend
pool.
that kind of money as well.
Yeah.
you'd
What
think-
about that neighbour I had who used to knock on my door and ask me to tie his shoes up? Awful.
Was he okay?
I don't know, but he always asked me,
I
"Could you
wonder-
tie my shoes up?"
No, he was
sounds
he was hoping that would.
Well, eventually
Yeah,
I
that
said,
would
"Look,
lead
just buy
to
some
other-
loafers."
Did you?
Yeah,
Good, yeah.
Thank you, good day. I
Good
shut
shout.
the door.
yeah.
Shout.
Disgusting.
Bit hard as he had no arms. Thought you could have been a bit more sympathetic.
Oh,
Yeah.
did we read this out? 999 has texted us.
999?
But,
I
yeah,
don't think it's that bad.
the studio is on fire. Can you please leave in an orderly fashion?
Hi All Neighbours is now a primetime show on Channel 5.
Oh, on Channel 5.
Well, what you calling prime time?
I've not followed it when it made the jump.
I've said it's shoulder peak, probably about 5:45.
Yeah, it's not prime time, is it? No, I'm sorry. Sorry, everyone. I'm not having that.
All right, 10:30.
What about when I went round to complain to the people that lived above me about the noise? I went up there, knocked on the door, had a conversation saying, it's 1:10, and this is still going on. And during the whole conversation, I kept my finger on the doorbell. So during the whole conversation, the doorbell was ringing.
You didn't.
Was that on purpose?
Oh, God, yes.
Or was it?
You're unhinged.
No,
Absolutely unhinged.
you have to put these people on the back foot.
Absolute Radio.
Frank Skinner on Absolute Radio.
We've had a missive in from 606 regarding our very own Cockerel. Did the Cockerel see the description in the newspaper yesterday of his tour?
Oh, my God, is this all right? Have you read this through?
No, let's see how we go. It said far less known than he should be.
Okay. It's a great advert for this show.
Yeah.
Well, I
What
agree
do
with
you,
that. I
as
think the
his
Cockerel
erstwhile
should
colleagues think?
I think
That's
he
from
should
Paul
be.
Cade in Woking.
Definitely should be a bigger star. Definitely.
I do.
You have to blame your agent.
Yeah.
Frank?
I've been saying that in a few interviews this week
Have you?
as well. No.
What, you should be a bigger star?
A few of them have sort of said, Nobody's actually said that. Far less known than he should be. But you know, it is perplexing.
Yeah, but I don't like some of this. Sometimes it's
The
suggesting
amount of
that.
ability I have.
Yeah, but why is that a measure of your success?
Yeah, people often say to me they're better known than he should be.
What, about you or
Yeah.
about me?
No, about me, so it's, it all balances itself out.
I hadn't read that because I don't read
Sensible.
stuff about myself.
But the Cochrane is on tour at the moment.
He
Well,
is.
I'm about to go on again, and I've done a few.
I've seen it.
I've done a few local interviews. I've done a few interviews. I did one where it was in Radio Manchester, and the guy talked right to the vocal on the song, really slick, like a proper DJ.
Oh, don't
No
say that to
disrespect,
Frank.
No disrespect.
No, I think, people put an intro there because they want you to listen to it. They don't listen to someone talking over it. That's my view.
That's a good point. But I did want to pick your brains because I've had a few of these interviews, and
The odd thing is that people that talk straight up to right up to the music almost always have nothing to say.
He's really sensitive about this. You really touched a nerve. Al. He's going to go on. He's going to keep referring to this all show
It
now.
definitely won't. I'm not going to snap back.
I've been asked the same question quite a lot, and actually a couple of variations on it.
Well, the beard was your decision.
No, not that. No, they've not done that. But a number of these little interviews that I've done, I'll stop calling them little interviews, but it's only a little tour, so it is a little interview.
Is the question what's Frank Skinner really like?
No, they've not even focused in on you. Weirdly, it's all about me time.
No, I agree, of course.
But genuinely, how do you deal with this?
Yeah.
Alan, what can people expect if they come to see your show?
Yeah, I get asked that myself.
What can they expect?
Laughter.
Yeah, but you say that, and you think, I don't want to say that in case some really grumpy guy comes along and then starts moaning at the end, there was no laughter from
Well, what
me.
are you meant to do? Are you meant to do some material at that point? I don't
know. I
It's
think
a
I need a
strange
coping
question.
strategy.
Topics thereafter.
Oh, well, then.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
But we've already done that at that point. They quite often do this as a closing question. Oh, final question. What can people expect if they come along?
Oh, imagine you said
in
lots
a
of
month.
laughs. A great night out.
That's what I say.
Great
then.
night
Oh, you
out.
don't.
Yeah.
Lots of laughs. Do you say that?
Breathtaking laughter.
Breathtaking.
What else are you going to say? Yeah.
Well,
when
then
people
you
at the end are going, and laugh that much.
Oh, I don't want that. I want the asthmatics to buy tickets
I
for my
killed 7
shows.
people on the last tour. It's all been hushed up.
Not now. Yeah, what can be... And on another one, a slightly more passive-aggressive version of the same question, I've had people saying, so why should people buy tickets for your show?
I get that
Is
one
that what
as
they
well.
say?
Why should they? Well, don't if they don't want. If it's a good telly night,
No,
tell them
don't
to
say that.
stay.
You don't have to say that.
That's
That's a
why.
bad idea.
That's why it's not more famous.
That's why my sales aren't great.
No,
I keep
that's-
saying,
What
look,
would you say if someone says that, Frank, to you?
Why should they come?
Yeah.
Because they'll have one of the nights of their lives.
wow,
There's always someone who's ready to
much
talk you
more on the
down,
front
talk yourself up. I mean, you've got to.
I need to talk myself up more.
Frank's got more
I mean,
of a sort
it
of
is a-
American dream approach to it all.
It's a funny show, but I'm...
It's easier for me because soon I'll have I don't remember to fall back on as an answer in interviews.
Skinner, Dean, and Cochrane. Together, The Frank Skinner Show.
Absolute Radio.
Frank, we've had some correspondence in.
Mm-hmm.
The subject line is Crowley was not a Satanist.
Oh, okay. We were just talking about Alistair. Well, I was about Alistair Crowley.
Yeah.
Oh,
And
Is
Angela,
this the estate agent?
this is Angela from Nottingham.
Okay.
She says there is a horned god that is one of many gods that people sometimes get confused with Satan, but he was not a Satanist. He was ultimately one of the founding members of Wicca. Get your facts straight before you undo a lot of work people have tried to do to fix the preconception that all witches are evil. This is not the case. So,
Okay.
there you go.
I'm sorry, Angela, if I simplified that. I like Room on the Broom. If that wins
Right.
back any points.
Okay.
I'm sure that'll have really made things better.
Well,
We don't want to cause
can I-
offence.
No, but can I say in seriousness, as a children's book, Room on the Broom is a very positive representation of a witch. Very likeable character.
Yeah.
So, yes, Angela, thank you for pointing that out. I'm always keen to learn.
And I love grot bags.
Yeah.
I'm sticking with the Holy Roman Church. I mean, it hasn't had that much effect on me, but,
Well, that would be a real text,
At
wouldn't it?
least
if
you
it were-
believe in something, Angela.
Well,
Respect to you for that.
You managed to say that without giving me a death stare there.
No.
For the,
Oh, yeah, and
yep,
me.
over here. We've had a text in. I was saying that I've been asked why should people come to your show? Why should they buy a ticket?
Yeah.
514 Neil from Penn just texted. I had the same thing at speed dating last night. What should they expect from a date with me?
Oh dear, that's difficult.
Yeah,
isn't
that
it?
is tricky.
Because what you want on a date is the unexpected, surely.
And a gig, similar. But then
Yeah.
if they say, "Oh, what should they expect from the show?" and I say the unexpected, I mean that sounds like I'm a magic actor.
Anyone that
Yeah.
Anyone that would say
Darren
on a
Brown.
speed date, though, what can I expect from a date with you? I mean, surely that just rules them out immediately.
Well,
What can I expect from a date with you?
Yeah, but
I
if
like
they-
to know in advance.
Yeah.
But if they're very
a
beautiful,
starter.
yeah, if they're very beautiful, then I imagine on speed dating, if they're very beautiful, it doesn't really much matter what they say.
That's a lovely attitude.
Yeah,
Well,
I had another one that was.
But this is someone who's speed dating, remember? So you've already ticked a few, crossed out a few channels and avenues.
Yeah. One of the other interviewers said to me, give people a reason to come along. Give people a reason to come along. And I think...
This is awful, Al.
I think my answer was, well, if they're going to bring that attitude, I don't want them to come along. So, I mean, it's puzzling,
Yes,
really,
I know,
how my
it's just
sales
difficult.
are as they are.
You didn't really say that.
No, but it would have been fun, wouldn't it?
Well, it's like this thing about making people laugh for a living.
Uh-huh.
They don't want to laugh. I have to
gotta
make
make
them.
them,
You've got to
yeah.
make them. Why have they come? If we have to make them laugh. They've come and thought, look, if you're going to get me to laugh, you're going to have to really squeeze it out of me.
Really make me.
Oh.
I've got one answer that I was pleased with. I was
on.
asked by a little paper in Cambridge, have you got any advice for young aspiring comics?
Oh,
And I
yeah.
think I
What did you give them?
I
What
think-
advice?
I said, make yourself totally unemployable in any other avenue of your life, and you'll have to stick with it. I thought that was pretty good.
Yeah, that's not bad.
If someone
Quite
asks
hard
you...
if you're a Cambridge graduate. It's not like me with a degree from the Welsh College of Music and Drama and 4 GCSEs. They're going to actually be employable, aren't they, if they're Cambridge graduates? But there is a big drop-off in stand-up with people that are good when they kind of go, oh, I could get more money doing a real job here. And I
Yes.
never had that. I
What-
had nothing to fall back on and still haven't.
What advice would
Wow,
you
this
give
is
to a young comic? Frank?
Well, very early on, I was doing a place called Jongleurs in Battersea.
Why do you give it that ridiculous
It's a French word. It's a French word.
No one, everyone says
It's a French-
jongleurs. No one goes
It's a
jongleurs.
French word, and a comic called Keith Field, who was a sort of... do you know him?
Yes.
He's a magician. He's sort of like... Would mainstream be fair?
He's not a magician, he's a Wiccanist.
Okay. He's at home, he's ever at home in a corporate, and he said to me, he said, I think you're going to be big. I said, that's very kind of you. He said, and when you get big, let me give you a piece of advice. You're almost certainly going to end up getting a BMW. My advice is make sure it's got power-assisted steering. And I've lived by that. So if there's any young comics listening, remember that.
Frank
Skinner.
on Absolute Radio.
Absolute Radio.
So we're talking advice for young comedians. I've got one.
Go on.
If someone asks you to present the Brits, say no.
You brought that up.
You know,
Yeah.
I actually think you were much better than you think you were.
Yes, well, I'm prepared to believe that.
You don't really do a bad gig, in my opinion.
Thank you, darling. You're such a supporter of mine. I'll tell you the question I get asked a lot now is how's fatherhood? I would say every interview
Oh, do
I
you?
do includes
Yeah.
that. And what am I supposed to say to that? I mean, as it turns out, it is brilliant. But what if it
Yeah.
wasn't? What if I said it's a nightmare? It's an
What
absolute
if you said
biggest
it,
mistake.
What if you said it's a terrible mistake?
What if I
Biggest
said that?
mistake I ever made.
What if I said, the thing is, if I put him up for adoption, it's people like you who'll drag me over the coals. And what if I said, be good for public... I'd
would,
get a
yeah.
lot of publicity.
Oh, would
Well,
you
they
ever?
do that when they say how's married life, and people have just got the same thing. What if
Yeah.
it's a terrible disaster? No one's going to admit that.
Yeah, well, I was
are
hoping
they?
you weren't going to ask me that, but the truth is...
When they ask about parenthood next time, just say it's going so well I might let him sit next to me on the bus next time.
Well, he's definitely sitting in front of me next time. I don't want to be on his ispy list anymore. What next is he going to go for? What's purple daddy's nose?
Can I ask you a question, both of you?
Go on.
If you were advising young comics on what to wear, you see, I think don't wear too loud a suit, because Frank always quotes this great, obviously got a lot of faith in your material. When someone comes out in, I can't remember who said that initially, but don't do yellow suit. I would say don't go skinny jeans either.
Oh, you've just destroyed half the young comics in the country if you get rid of skinny jeans.
Not for the first time.
They need to drop the skinny jeans. I'm going to rephrase that.
No, that's not as easy as it sounds. They don't actually drop, do they, skinny jeans? They have to be peeled.
Do you agree with me on that?
Peel back the skinny jeans.
I think if I was a young man with skinny legs, I'd wear skinny jeans. I mean, Bob Monkhouse said to me that Ted Ray, the comedian, had given him advice early on. And the advice was, don't say anything too funny early on in your act, because people like to spend the first couple of minutes looking at your suit.
Nice.
But I think that might have been a trap. To try because if you don't say anything funny for the first 2 minutes, that could well be it.
Yeah, that's true.
An American, this is something I have always lived by. An American comic said to me, always take your wallet on stage.
What?
Or you'll be preoccupied. And I always do, no matter what the show.
No, I don't
I think we know the Cockerel always does.
Where's your wallet then?
For some reason, I like to do my gigs with empty pockets. I like to it's just me. There's no.
So where do you leave your
Can
wallet?
I just say, Where's Your Wallet, then, is the title of the Cockerel's autobiography.
I like to leave it in a lockable dressing room, according to my rider.
It's actually the title of my memoir, subtitled The Sleeping Around Years. Anyway, thank you so much for listening this morning, and if the good Lord spares us and the creeks don't rise, we'll be back again this time next week. So, get out.
The Frank Skinner Show on Absolute Radio. Back Saturday morning from 8. Tune in live for the full Frank experience.